You know that feeling when you finally decide to upgrade your office network, you click on a bargain-priced enterprise router, get it home, plug it in, and nothing works the way the sales page promised. I've seen a lot of folks get burned on cheap alternatives that look good on paper, but end up being a nightmare to configure, or they simply lack the reliability you need for a growing business. That hesitation is real, and it's why I spent a few days digging into the Cisco ISR4331 SEC K9 before hitting record. If you're still on the fence, the link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's set the stage. The ISR4331 is part of Cisco's integrated services router family, aimed at the mid-sized enterprise segment that needs more than a consumer-grade Wi-Fi router, but isn't ready to invest in a full-blown carrier-grade chassis. The SEC K9 designation tells you it comes with the security bundle. Think firewall, VPN, and intrusion prevention all baked in. That's a big deal for anyone who needs to protect traffic without buying separate appliances. So, who should actually consider this box? If you run a branch office with 50 to 200 employees, need to support a handful of VPN tunnels for remote workers, and want a single device that can handle routing, security, and some basic WAN optimization, the ISR4331 is a solid match. It also shines for IT teams that already have Cisco experience. The familiar CLI and iOS XE software mean you won't be learning a brand new operating system on the fly. On the flip side, a small home office or a startup with less than 10 users probably doesn't need the heavy-duty features, and the price point could feel excessive. Likewise, if your organization already runs a dedicated firewall solution, like a Palo Alto or FortiGate, and just needs a simple edge router, you'll be paying for capabilities you'll never use. Let's talk about how it behaves in a real-world deployment. I set up a test lab that mimics a typical branch office: 2 WAN links, 1 MPLS, 1 broadband backup, 3 LAN subnets, and a handful of site-to-site VPN tunnels back to the headquarters. The router boots into Cisco's iOS XE fairly quickly, about a minute from power on to a usable prompt. The initial configuration wizard is helpful, walking you through interface assignments, basic routing protocols, and enabling the security features. What impressed me most was how the integrated firewall policies could be defined right on the same device, avoiding the need to push rules to a separate appliance. From a performance standpoint, the ISR4331's modular line cards let you scale the CPU and memory based on your needs. In the configuration I used, the router handled roughly 250 megabits per second of concurrent traffic across the VPN tunnels without noticeable latency spikes. That's comfortably within the advertised capacity for a mid-size office, and it proves the hardware can actually sustain a moderate load. However, it's worth noting that the router's performance will drop if you stack too many heavy services like deep packet inspection plus high throughput NAT on a single chassis. In scenarios where you plan to run advanced security analytics or multiple WAN optimizations simultaneously, you may need to upgrade to a higher-end ISR model or add a dedicated security appliance. One of the hidden trade-offs I discovered relates to the licensing model. Cisco's security bundle is included in the SKU, but you still have to manage smart licensing across your network. If your organization isn't already using Cisco's license manager, that adds an extra administrative step. For a small IT team, the licensing portal can feel a bit clunky at first, but once you're set up, renewals are straightforward. The upside is that you're not paying per feature. Everything comes as a single package, which simplifies budgeting compared to buying a separate firewall license. Another practical consideration is the physical footprint. The ISR4331 is a 1U rack-mountable unit, so it fits nicely into standard equipment cabinets. It ships sealed, meaning the chassis is pre-tested and ready for deployment, which reduces the risk of receiving a defective unit. The power supply is hot-swappable, a nice touch for environments where uptime matters. You can replace a failed PSU without taking the router offline. That said, The device does run a bit warm under load, so make sure your rack's airflow is adequate. In my lab, the internal fans stayed on a constant hum, but the temperature never crossed the warning threshold. Now, let's weigh the strengths against the weaknesses in plain language. The biggest win is the all-in-one nature of the ISR4331. You get routing, firewall, VPN, and basic WAN optimization without needing 3 separate boxes. That consolidates management, reduces cable clutter, and can lower overall power consumption. The Cisco ISR4331 operating system is mature, with years of security patches, and a huge community of administrators who share scripts and troubleshooting tips. If you're already familiar with Cisco's command line, you'll appreciate the granular control you have over ACLS, NAT rules, and QoS policies. On the downside, the price tag is higher than consumer-grade routers that offer basic firewall functions. You're paying for enterprise-grade reliability and a feature set